Greetings, class. This video is going to be brief. I have three goals here. Number one, to introduce myself, which I didn't get a chance to do really well in the first video. Number two, to give you an idea of how the class works. More importantly, how I like to work and how I think you can learn the best, how I think you can succeed, right? So once again, my name is Jal da Silva. I wanted to remind you that this class is asynchronous. So this means that I will be sending you videos. I will be sometimes videos, but I will be sending you prompts mainly, right? Calls to action. What kind of action? You need to respond to either a reading piece, something that I told you to read, something that is scheduled for you to read, or you need to respond to one of your classmates writing about one of the readings, or you need to respond to another related material from the class, right? This is what drives the class. This is what I think drives the learning. It's this discussion that emerges from responding to reading and responding to writing, right? This is how we learn, right? This actually brings me to my background. I've studied psychology, and I did not study clinical psychology, which is what most people associate psychology with. I appreciate that people have problems and whatnot, but that wasn't my area of interest. I studied cognitive psychology, and more specifically, I studied problems in learning, like when people cannot learn, right? And one of the main takeaways from just very basic psychology classes is that human beings all have some level of all the attributes. In other words, everybody can paint, everybody can write, and everybody can dance. But some people can dance more than other people. To some people, writing may come more easily, right? So what I mean by this is that it's a quantitative issue. If you look at a group of people, some people may have more and some people may have less of that natural attribute, right? That aptitude to writing, that easiness to convey what you mean in words and in writing. But it doesn't matter. We're here to address that. I'm here to work with you at whatever level you come in, right? Which brings me to the notion of progress, which is another thing I learned in school in all these years of studying. It was that you come in at a certain level, and with the right amount of support, right? With the right amount of support from your peers, support from your instructor, support from the learning center, the academic support center, support from tutor.com, support from us altogether from the class, as you watch other people make progress and you see that you can do it too. Support from the interactions that you're going to have one-on-one with me and with your classmates. This is how you see progress, right? In other words, I'm a firm believer that interaction is really what drives the learning, right? This interaction in our class will take place through the forums, right, which are the prompted kind of responses that I expect you to produce. They will also come from impromptu discussion, right? When somebody writes something that makes you think, or when you read about an issue and that brings up something else and you decide to address it, you decide to investigate it further, right? All right, so the forums, classmate to classmate, conferences with me, right? And very importantly as well, through feedback, which is another way that I think people can learn, and also one of the ways that I like to work with you. Usually, you will submit your work to me either in PDF or Microsoft Word, right? And you will get it back from me with some color added to it, with comments like red if this is really bad, or there's something that you need to address really urgently. Another section may be highlighted in yellow, pay attention to this, another one in green, as in this is great, but, right? And a lot of times for a lot of people, it hurts a little bit, just a little bit, like when you get the first feedback from your instructor and you realize, oh my gosh, I wrote it and then it's not good enough. but that's okay. You get over it. And then you address whatever it is that I told you needed to address. I tend to be really specific, right, in my feedback. And then that dialogue continues. You write something else, like draft number two, and then I continue to talk to you. And in the end, my goal, I don't know what your goal is, but this instructor's goal is that you get an A at the end, right? I am not a difficult A. I'm a very easy A. That's what I have heard. So if you're willing to work like through your difficulties and the areas in which you can improve, if you have that kind of mindset, you will do fine. Okay, I'll be here for you. And now I'd like to give you just a couple of tips on how to succeed, right? How I think you could benefit the most, right? Number one is stay tuned to Blackboard, right? That's my major way of communicating with you. That's how I address the whole class, right? So there is the schedule of activities, which I've covered in another video with dates, materials, and assignments, right? What you need to, when, what, and what you need to do in response to that what. In other words, by Tuesday, you need to read this reading and you need to submit this writing, right? So those will really help you. Those tips will really help you, like staying tuned to Blackboard, right? And observing those points that I covered, looking at the schedule of activities and announcements and so on. Number two is to reach out to classmates, right? Reach out to the class as a whole with questions, thoughts, complaints, burning desires to discuss anything. Reach out to your classmates, to me, and to the class as a whole, right? And finally, do not allow the work to pile up, right? Follow that schedule of activities, and then you will be able to target those milestones that I have set up for you, achieve those goals, and then move forward, right? Improve. And I don't know, always save this for last, but have fun, right, through this experience. It may sound a little nerdy to you coming from your professor, but my definition of fun does not include, for example, only surfing, which is what I like to do when I'm not teaching, or interacting with the people that I love the most. Sometimes it will be to you, I promise you. It'll be very satisfying to you to be able to interact with people that have similar or not so similar, sometimes even opposing ideas to yours, and exchanging those ideas and learning through the process and being able to structure your thoughts and learning through the interaction. It's incredibly satisfying, guys. So that's what I meant about broadening your idea of fun, okay? So I'm going to sum up what I covered in this tiny 9-minute video. That was my limit. I've introduced myself. Once again, I am Jao de Silva, your instructor. I told you how I like to work. I enjoy a lot of interaction, open questions, open discussions, right? And I also outlined how you can succeed, right? Following the prompts from Blackboard, not allowing for the work to pile up, and interacting again and having fun, okay? I look forward to seeing you. Have a great one. Thank you.